Peace be upon you. Today, inshallah, we're gonna continue the lesson, page 29. But before we explain or continue the lesson, let's just make a quick revision about what we have read before. We said that there was a girl, her name was Martin, and she was orphan. She has no father, no mother, and she was living with her grandmother who owns a wildlife reserve. And there's a man whose name is Tendai. He works for her grandmother and he works as a Zolo tracker. He told her about a white giraffe, and he believed that this white giraffe is in the reserve because he saw its tracks. In one rainy night, she she glimpses the white giraffe. Then she decided to go to look for this rare animal. Then after that, she could open the gate because she overheard the numbers of the dial. And when she opened the gate, she get into the reserve, and one of the sudden, she stifled the cry of terror because she saw red eyes were glaring at her, and the bushes were moving violently, and behind the bushes there was an animal that's called a water buck. The water buck brushed its horns into her, then moved away. And she here, Martin thought, what would Tendai do if he was in her situation or in her shoes? And she thought that he would be calm as what she did. Okay, now before we said also that this story was written by Lauren John, and it's not a full story. Now, before we start or continue explaining the lesson, let's go to some new words. On page 29. Here, the first word is beam. Beam means the hand of something. He is saq, the hand of something. Here, 2. Water hole. It's the place where water collects. اللي هي حفرة الماء. Place where water collects. We have also shudder, to tremble or to shake your body as a result of fear. اللي هي اليرجف, الرجفة. And horizon, the skyline, الأفق. Puddle, the rain water on the ground, اللي هي بقعة الماء. Soak, to wet yourself with a lot of water. To drench yourself, يعني ينقع نفسه. Slither, to slide, ينزلق. And scurry, to rush, يسرع. Here, number 9. Undergrowth means bushes, small trees, شجيرات. Carnivore, an animal feeds on flesh, أكلات لحوم. Fervently, adverb, هي passionately, بشغف. Gum, it's a noun, kind of the trees that produce glue, اللي هو شجر الصمغي. Startle, to flinch, يعني ينقز. When you startle someone, أنت بتنقزه. Bank, a land alongside to a river or a lake, هي الضفة. And tendrils, spiral plants, هي النباتات الملتفة. Tendrils means يعني ملتف زي الحلقات. Hover, remain in one place in the air, معناها يحوم. It's a verb. Quill, to stifle, to stop, يكتم. Pursuit, following something, اللي هو السعي. Instinct, the need of surviving. Sense, اللي هو الغريزة، الحاجة إلى البقاء أو يعني السنس هي الحاسة. Coil, to wrap something، اللي هو يلف شيء معين. Sway, to move from side to side، يعني يتمايل. Dim, become faint، يبهت، بصير هيك خافت وباهت. Plunge, to sink or dip something، يعني يغطس شيء معين أو يغرق شيء معين. Strike معناها to hit، يضرب. Strike, to hit، اللي هي يضرب. Here also we have lethal, اللي هي adjective, deadly، مميت. Lethal. Blur, mist or fog، اللي هو الضباب. Hooves, اللي هي noun هون, the plural of hoof, اللي هو the feet of animals, the feet of animals, هي الحوافر. And crumble, to break down، اللي هي ينهار. Crumble, ينهار. Okay, now let's explain each paragraph then comment on it in Arabic. Here, I'm going now to read the paragraph, then explain it. The beam from the torch picked out the path that led down to the water hole, where the frogs were competing in a noisy chorus. Blue lightning shuddered over the mountains on the far horizon. Martin set off as quickly as she dared, trying to avoid the puddles. Even so, her jeans were soon soaked through. In places, the grass was taller than she was, and cold droplets drenched her hair and ran down her neck. It says here that the beam from the torch picked out the path that led down to the water hole. We said that the place was very dark, so she held with her a torch, and torch is like a flashlight. So the beam from the torch, يعني عصاية التورch اللي هي flashlight, picked out the path, showed Martin the path. Path here means the way, طريق, that led down to the water hole. So at the end of this path there is a water hole, حفرة مياه, where the frogs were competing in a noisy chorus. The frogs in this water hole were competing, challenging each other in a noisy chorus. Chorus means like group of singers اللي هي الchorus اللي هو الchoir. Blue lightning shuddered over the mountains on the far horizon, and horizon we said it's the skyline هو الأفق. So there is a blue lightning shuddered over the mountains, and shuddered here means to shudder something يعني يرج. Okay, the mountains on the far horizon. Martin set off as quickly as she dared. She started her journey quickly, trying to avoid the puddles. Puddles here you said it's like بقع الماء, the spot of waters. Even so, her jeans were soon soaked through. She soaked her jeans, بللت أو نقعت بنطلونها. In places the grass was taller than she was, and cold droplets drenched her hair and ran down her neck. When she soaked her jeans, there was grass that was taller than hair. العشب كان أطول منها. And cold droplet like drops of water, اللي هي قطرات الماء. Cold droplets drenched hair. Drench also means to soak, اللي هي ينقع. Drenched her hair, نقعت الشعر تبعها, and ran down her neck, ونزلت على الرقبة. As she walked, unseen creatures slithered and scurried and hopped away through the undergrowth. When she started walking, there were unseen creatures, unseen animals that slithered, and slithered here means to slide, and scurried, moved in a hurry, moved in a rush, كانت تمشي بشكل سريع, and hopped away يعني jumped, كانت تقفز through the undergrowth we said like bushes اللي هي شجيرات. Martin tried not to imagine the worst. She tried not to imagine the bad things, okay? She wasn't sure which she was most scared of, snakes and creepy crawlies or man-eating carnivores, okay? She wasn't sure that she would be scared of snakes اللي هي like الثعابين, and creepy crawlies اللي هي creatures that crawls, الحيوانات اللي قاعدة بتزحف, or man-eating carnivores. Carnivores like animals or men that feeds on flesh, like cannibals اللي هي أكلات اللحوم. Man-eating carnivores اللي هي الحيوانات اللي بتاكل اللحوم. Animals that feed on flesh, eat flesh, meat يعني. But she fervently hoped that she didn't meet any of them. Fervently, passionately, بشغف, hoped يعني تأملت that she didn't meet any of them. She didn't meet the snakes or creepy crawlies or man-eating carnivores. Okay? After what seemed an age, and after a long time, the temperature dropped and she saw she would reach the water edge. So the temperature of the air درجة الحرارة dropped, which means reduced يعني قلت, and she saw she had reached the water edge. So she had reached the water edge. وصلت حفت الماء. She tried to pinpoint the exact spot where she had seen the giraffe. حاولت إنها pinpoint here to beacon اللي هي يؤشر على the exact spot. ما هي شافت الجراف من الشباك عندها, فحاولت إنها تأشر على the exact spot where she had seen the giraffe, المكان اللي شاف بالضبط الزرافة فيه. She was pretty sure it had been beside the old gum tree that stood like a startled skeleton on the left bank of the water hole. كانت متأكدة it had been beside the old gum tree, and gum is a kind of a tree that produces glue هي نوع من أنواع الشجر الصمغي, that stood like a startled skeleton. So this tree stood like a startled skeleton. شو يعني startled skeleton؟ skeleton يعني زي الهيكل العظمي, and startled يعني مرعب, scary. Okay, on the left bank of the water hole. Where is this tree? On the left bank of the water hole, يعني بالضفة الغربية من حفرة المياه. Okay. As if sensing danger, the frogs fell silent. Tendrils of mist hovered over the water, and the night air was laden with threats. Martin quelled the butterflies in her stomach. She had come too far to go back now. She lifted her torch and shone it into the surrounding bush. Nothing moved, not a mouse, not a lion, not even a bird. Disappointment hit her like a blow. What had she been thinking? A mythical giraffe? She had risked her life in pursuit of a fairy tale, and now she had to try to get home in one piece. As if sensing danger, okay, so she started to sense danger, to feel the danger, risky things, okay, هي الخطر, بلشت تحس بالخطر. The frogs fell silence. We say that the frogs were competing in a noisy chorus, okay, and after this all the frogs became silent. كل الضفادع سكتت, لأنه من قبل كانت تغني, بس هلا إيش, الضفادع كلها سكتت. Trindles of mist hovered over the water, and the night air was laden with threats. So we have trindles of mist, زي يعني حلقات الضباب, that hovered over the water, and hovered to stay in the air, not moving, يعني كانت تحوم over the water, فوق المياه, and the night air was laden with threat. Laden here was loaded, يعني محملة with a threat. Threat here means also danger, اللي هو الخطر أو التهديد. Martin quelled the butterflies in her stomach. Here we have a metaphor, مجاز. Quelled, again we said quelled means stifle or stop, يعني she كتمت the butterflies in her stomach. When you feel interested in something and you fear that the suspense, you have like butterflies in your stomach. يعني كيف يعني butterfly؟ يعني for example, imagine that you are in a roller coaster and you want to go down. You feel that there is something that tickling your stomach inside. بتحس إنه في إشي هيك بدغدغ المعدة. So هاي العبارة لما أحكي quell the butterflies in her stomach معناها إنه كأنه في فراشات جوا المعدة بتدغدغها. تعطيها هيك إحساس السسبنس, المشاعر اللي كلها إثارة. So she tried to quell the butterflies in her stomach. She tried to stifle a cry, stifle a scream of terror, stifle a shout, stop the feeling of danger inside her stomach. Okay, بدها تحاول إنها إيش, to be calm, بدها تصير calm, هادئة. She had come too far to go back now. She lifted her torch and shone it into the surrounding bush. Nothing moved, not a mouse, not a lion, not even a bird. Because all the atmosphere was calm, لأن الجو كان كتير هادي, she lifted her flashlights اللي هو المصباح, and shone it into the surrounding. بلشت إيش, تطلع حواليها بالمصباح, push على الشجيرات. Nothing moved, ما في إشي يتحرك. Not a mouse, ما في حتى فار يتحرك. Not a lion, ما في أسد. Not even a bird, ولا حتى طائر. Disappointment hit her like a blow. She felt she felt the disappointment. She was يعني like hopeless, عديمة الأمل. Okay, what had she been thinking? Now she started to regret her decision. بلشت تندم على قرارها وصارت تسأل حالها what had she been thinking. على شو كانت تفكر؟ a mythical giraffe and true giraffe يعني يعني الزرافة يعني هيك خيالية mythical from the word myth. She had risked her life in pursuit of a fairy tale. Pursuit here means to follow something. Okay, مثل أحكي you have to follow your dream, pursue your dream. السعي وراء الأحلام أو السعي وراء شيء معين. She had risked her life يعني عرضت حياتها للخطر in the pursuit of a fairy tale عشان قصة أطفال fairy tale. قصص هاي البسيطة. And now she had to try to get home in one piece. هون هلا بتحاول انها ترجع على الدار سليمة. So بحكي she had to try to get home in one piece يعني كقطعة واحدة كإنسان واحد مش مقطع. Okay, because she is in a wildlife reserve. هي في محمية برية. She could face or encounter carnivores اللي هي أكلات اللحوم, crawlies, creepy crawlies, any kind of animal that could harm her. ممكن يؤذيها. Okay, here. Sheer instinct warned Martin something was behind her. The same sixth sense told her to turn around very, very slowly. A cape cobra was coiled in the mud barely 6 feet away from her hood spread wide, swaying in the yellow torchlight. Martin recognized it immediately as one of the most poisonous snakes in the Africa, more deadly even than the mamba. Its golden coloring was unmistakable, so was the band around the throat. So the result of this calm atmosphere was a poisonous snake. Snake اللي هي الحية. Poisonous يعني سام. Sheer instinct حكينا الغريزة, and she means full. It's an adjective. The need of survive اللي هي غريزة البقاء warned Martin something was behind her. So what did warn Martin? اللي هي sheer instinct غريزة البقاء, that there is something behind her back. إشي وراها. The same sixth sense هي السنس اللي هي الحاسة السادسة told her to run around very, very slowly. So the sixth sense told Martin to move, to turn around slowly, not quickly, slowly. Okay? A cape cobra. So the snake was a cape cobra. نوع من أنواع الكوبرا اللي هي poisonous snakes. Was coiled in the mud. Mud اللي هو الطين, clay. Okay, wet clay. And coiled, we said like a wrap, ملتف أو بلف. Was coiled in the mud barely 6 feet away from her. بتقريبا 6 أقدام بعيدة عنها يعني مسافة. Hood spread wide. Hood اللي هي زي القلنسوة. مرات تكون الأفعى في عندها زي هيك راسها بيكون هيك ممدود. سميها hood spread wide يعني راسها هيك اتفتح وانتمد. Swaying in the yellow torchlight. بلشت تعمل swaying, and swaying we said to move from side to side هو التمايل. In the yellow torchlight في ضوء الفلاش لايت الأصفر. Martin recognized here means realized, أدركت, knew it immediately. So because she is living in a wildlife reserve, she knew the types of snakes and the kind of animals. So she recognized it immediately as one of the most poisonous snakes. أحد أنواع الثعابين السامة in Africa, more deadly even than the mamba. حتى إنها أكثر قتلا وفتكا من أفعى اسمها mamba. Okay, it's an extremely also poisonous snake. Its color was golden. اللون كان أصفر. Was unmistakable. يعني شو يعني unmistakable؟ يعني مش ممكن تغلط في هاي الأفعى. So was the band around its throat. وفي عندها حوالين الثروت. الثروت هو زي الحلق تبع الأفعى، يعني زي الرقبة هون النك. Okay. Was the band it had band زي الحلقات أو حلقة. Okay, here. The cobra lips parted and its black tongue flickered out evilly. Martin dropped her torch in panic. It rolled behind a boulder and dimmed into faint glow. Okay, when she saw this cobra, when she saw the cobra's lips اللي هي اللبس اللي هي شفايف، بس هون مش معنى ان الكوبرا عندها شفة زي اللسان تبعها. parted اللي هو اللبس اللي هي تم الأفعى الكبير هذا parted. يعني parted يعني فتح لفه، انفتح بعد عن بعضه. اوكي. and its black tongue flickered. tongue هو اللسان. what is the color of the snake's tongue اللي هو الكيب كوبرا؟ black. flickered means moved quickly. بلشت ايش؟ طلع لسانها هيك تتحرك بسرعة. out evilly يعني بشكل شرير. Martin dropped her torch. She threw her torch. رمت التورش تبعها in panic because she was very scared. خايفة. It rolled behind a boulder. التورش rolled behind a boulder, and boulder here means big or a huge stone. صخرة كبيرة. يعني راح التورش الفلاش لايت لف حوالين صخرة and dimmed to a faint glow. وانطفى. بلش ايش؟ الجلو تبعه the light تبعه يصير dim هيك faint خفيف weak. then it went out. شو went out؟ turned off. انطفى. in the split second before she was plunged into darkness, Martin saw the cobra draw back in its head to strike. Helplessly, she waited for its lethal bite. Okay. In a split of second في جزء من الثانية before she was plunged into darkness قبل ما يصير العتمة كتير قوية. هون حكينا plunged to sink يعني إنه المكان يصير كله غرقان بالعتمة. Martin saw the cobra draw back in its head to strike. شافت الكوبرا بترجع لورا go back in its head to strike Martin, to hit Martin, to beat Martin. Okay. عشان ايش؟ تضرب Martin. helplessly يعني without help. اوكي. بشكل يعني بدون امل بدون مساعده. waited for its lethal bite. So Martin waited for its lethal bite, and we said lethal means deadly, and bite اللي هي العضة القاتلة. استنت عضة القاتلة بدون يعني ما يكون عندها القدرة على إنها تساعد حالها. It never came. Instead, a pale blur exploded from the trees. There was a hideous hissing sound and the flash of flying hooves. The last thing Martin saw before she crumpled to the ground was the white giraffe. The snake didn't bite Martin because there was something pale and blur explored from the trees. Pale يعني شاحب. blur like زي الضبابي like مش فوق يعني مش واضح. Okay. unclear something that is pale and unclear exploded from the trees. exploded from the trees يعني appeared from the trees. ظهر بين الأشجار. There was a hideous hissing sound. Hissing sound is the sound of the snake. Hideous, it's ugly. Hissing sound and the flash of flying hooves. There is a flash of flying hooves. Hooves حكينا عنها هي the feet of animals. حوافر الحيوان. كان ايش؟ تنزل تطلع كأنها تضرب في الأرض. فهذا this makes the snake hissing. هذا اللي خلى السنيك تعمل هذا الصوت hissing. The last thing Martin saw before she crumbled to the ground was the white giraffe. And crumbled means to fall down or to break down. هو انهيار أو الوقوع على الأرض. The last thing before she fall down to the ground or before she fell down to the ground or crumbled or break down to the ground, the white giraffe. So who rescued her from the snake? The white giraffe. مين اللي ساعدها أو أنقذها من هاي الحيوان اللي هو السنيك اللي هي white giraffe. Okay. If you are interested to know what will happen with Martin and the white giraffe, you can read the summary of this story from the internet. That's it for today. Inshallah, next time we're gonna answer the questions of the pupil book and student book, reading and comprehension. Thank you.